whatever angle that you may be approaching a trouble, the skyline of the surrounding areas these days is characterized by a huge flame. It shows that there must be a source of energy around. This is the Ghana Gas Company.
Increasingly, Ghana's economy is becoming a gas economy. With the happy finds of gas resources that we've seen in Jubilee, 10, Sankofa, and yet to be discovered areas, gas is going to play a predominant role in the lives of Ghanaians.
We are looking at handling close to about 2,000 megawatts, of gas that will provide that much electricity. So that's very significant. Now, if we talk about 2,000 megawatts, that's about our peak demand currently.
It is amazing that all this complexity is manned completely by significantly very young Ghanaian engineers. This is the new story of the Ghana Gas Plant after just a few years in operation, something our president cannot help but applaud.
We have initially employed the services of what you call an operations and maintenance consultant. These were the Chinese. And they have been actually operating the pipeline and the processing plant on our behalf. And we are grateful for that. But I believe it had come to a time where our men and women should actually take control of the consoles, take control of the processing apparatus, take control of our process areas, and actually run the plant themselves, also run the pipelines. So we have totally indigenized our operation. So if you go there, as you did, you saw that almost everyone there on the process floor, in the control room, at our utilities area, they're all Ghanaians.
You're saying that now the entire facility is being run by Ghanaians.
Absolutely, and we're very proud of that. 3 years we are totally indigenized. So we are very proud of that.
Yeah. That's a good story. That's a really good story.
It also has got some financial implications for us. We were spending close to about 10 million cedis a month just to employ the services of our friends, the Chinese.
The current components of the Ghana Early Phase Gas Infrastructure Project include the offshore export pipeline that is from the FPSO, located some 60 kilometers away from here, to the GPP, that is a 12-inch pipeline, high-pressure line.
From the indications of the flurry of activities on the sea by Tullow and ENI, it seems as if we are going to have many more sources of gas in the country in the future. And Ghana Gas Company may well be what the doctor ordered to aid our ailing economy. Surely, it may just be what we need to establish our industrial base as a country. It is estimated that with the current gas discoveries, Ghana National Gas Company is going to be around for at least 25 years.
Ghana Gas mandate is of four folds. We do gathering, we do transportation, we do processing, and we do marketing of the natural gas resources. The gathering typically is what you will notice that the offshore pipeline that takes the raw gas from the Jubilee field is a straight bullet pipeline, and it has a capacity to take as higher as 240 million standard cubic feet per day under packing conditions. So that line can allow other producers to tie in such a way that it serves as a gathering pipeline.
After 58 kilometers at sea, the wet gas comes in and it is metered to ascertain how much of it is being taken in to the processing plant. The first process is to remove all the impurities in the wet gas, after which, under very intense pressure and temperature ranges, the gas is processed to attain the dry gas referred to as the sales gas, ready for use by power plants and big industrial concerns.
every hour we move into the plant, we check the parameters, and we also take data, readings of all the essential parameters in the plant. And what we do to this data is that it helps us to be able to know the efficiency of our plant.
These units are capable of cleaning the gas that is going out. And this is a measure to prevent smoky flare. You know, smoky flare, when it's smoke, it's pollution. And then again, when you flare, for safety reasons, it's good. Because if we don't flare and release hydrocarbon to the environment, there is that tendency that if somebody is smoking around, their flare stack, or if a farmer is farming or a tapper is carrying a fire, and there's a vapor cloud in the atmosphere, there can be a serious tendency of fire and explosion.
At this point, Ghana Gas would have attained the kind of gas that can be sold to end users such as power plants and industries. And the metered processed gas exits from the plant in the same place as the plant, as it entered but through a different pipeline.
At the inlet of the station, we have gas chromatograph. What it does is that it takes the sample of the gas online and gives us the gas composition for us to know the quality of gas being produced. And from there, it comes through the filter separators, where the gas is further sieved to ensure that it doesn't go along with any particle.
The dry component of it is taken out and through a pipeline from Atuabo through 111 kilometers pipeline, 20 each, from Atuabo straight to Aboase, for which it is being sent to VRA at Aboase for power generation.
Ghana Gas is dealing with over 100 communities, so far as our pipeline and all those things are concerned.
Before the project commenced, an environmental impact social assessment was carried out on the ground before the facility was put up. And during that process, mitigation measures were proposed so that the impact of the project doesn't have negative impact on the environment. Because of that, we carry out analysis using the equipment in this lab. And the analysis is basically carried out for air, for quality water, for effluents, for noise. Sometimes we organize sensitization exercises to educate the community on our activities, and we invite the regulators to come in. That's EPA, the district assembly, and any stakeholder that might be needed at that sensitization exercise is called in, and they come in, assist, and we educate the community so that we have a cordial relationship with the community.
On a day-to-day basis, I'm in charge of cathodic protection and then corrosion as well, to ensure that there is no corrosion on our pipelines. So we normally visit the right-of-way where the pipeline has been installed, and then we do our tests. And then we are also in charge of inline inspection to check for leakages, cracks, anomalies, and any other defects on our pipeline. And then when it comes to designing, we ensure that whatever we are doing is in accordance with our standard. Basically, that's what is it about pipeline integrity.
If you look at the Ghana map, this is how our pipeline looks like, the onshore pipeline looks like on the Ghana map. This is Atuabo, this is Esiama. So the main pipeline is the red line you see here, going through various districts, various communities, all the way to the Aboadi Thermal Plant, VRA. This is the TRMS, or the Takoradi Regulatory and Metering Station. Then VRA is just close by, which takes the gas and produce power for us.
At the Takoradi Regulating and Metering Station, TRMS, Ghana Gas Company then supplies to various facilities that need dry gas to do their production, such as the Twyford Company in Shamar. Today, a number of power plants are using gas as a source of producing our national energy needs. It seems our future is going to be more in the hands of gas as a source of energy than other available sources. Therefore, Ghana Gas is going to be a very important player in the production of energy in the country.
When one comes to industry, there are a lot of industries that are stuck, not just for power production, but gas as an input, which are stuck because hitherto we did not have the sufficient quantities of gas to inject into their production processes. Steel manufacturers, for example. So as you see, the more gas we get, the more efficient our economies become, the more we come to depend on it, and the more we improve in terms of our daily outlooks in life.
We're doing the floor tiles and the wall tiles, then use the Tri-4 brand to market in the Western Africa. Then currently we have employed around 800 staff. Then I think we are going to hire more. To doing the ceramic tile industry is different with other light industry. You need the energy for power and you need the energy for like heating. It's very important. Ghana Gas is a very reliable and a very trusted company who can supporting us for the industrialization and development. So not only for Tri-4 actually, Tri-4 is one of the successful example of our company to do the industrialization. Then in future maybe we also bring other relevant industry to use Ghana Gas also.
While Ghana Gas produces the dry gas of various power generating plants to use, the plant itself also uses their own produce to generate the energy they require for all their operations. After all, why sell a produce that you cannot trust to use? The Ghana Gas power plants are able to generate in excess of 2,700 kilowatts.
My job basically is to ensure that there is constant power available to the plant, and as much as it should also be in the right quality. I do an hourly routine inspection and monitoring. All the various parameters, I monitor them on my screen. So I make sure that the voltage, which is very important, the current, the frequency, the pressures are all within specified limits.
Once the dry sales gas has been extracted and sent to the various industries to be used, the remaining gas in the plant undergoes more processing, out of which a second produce of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, is attained. Increasingly, this product is becoming most essential in the daily lives of Ghanaians.
Typically, we have 4 storage tanks, each of capacity 2,000 cubic meters and total of 8,000 cubic meters. After storing this LPG, we also have a pipeline linking the storage tanks straight away to a loading gantry where vehicles, that's the road transportation vehicles, which comes the tankers, they do come there to offload the LPG to the local markets.
We normally operate the pumps. So for our area, most times we do manual operations. We have manually opening valves, isolating the lines, valves line up, pumps operation, and all these things. And these are part of our day-to-day activities. We have a company, Quantum Terminal, that normally we transfer the product to them, and they also give it to off-takers.
After processing of the LPG, it is piped underground to Quantum, a gas distribution plant about 3 kilometers away.
From the meters, the product gets into our tanks. We call it bullets. Each of them is 500 cubic meters in terms of capacity. So it can store about 250 metric tons. One of these bullets can load about 10 of these trucks. So for the 3, we are talking about 750 metric tons storage.
Ghana Gas
and us entered into this partnership some years back. And it's been very helpful to us because as an evacuation facility, we don't have business if Ghana Gas is not producing and sending the product to us. So since 2014, we have had to depend solely on the product coming from Ghana Gas, and that has sustained our business. It has given us the opportunity to employ people. Of course, it's given us income, and on the national level, we can say that since Atuabo Gas started, since Ghana Gas started producing gas, it's helped stabilize availability of the product on the market.
We currently contribute 50% to the current consumption of LPG in the country. Take that away, we wouldn't have had 50% of LPG in the country, and I think we would have been talking about a shortage of LPG in the country or importing more expensive LPG. And that is only a byproduct.
Ghanaians are going to see an increase in the use of gas for their domestic use, cooking particularly. Gone should be the days when school children and women spent all their time looking for firewood to prepare a meal, so that the act of even providing food for citizens became a daily chore. The introduction of LPG from gas is going to mean that increasingly the burdens of providing food on our table is going to increase. It has environmental consequences in the sense that our forests and woodlands will now be spared the axe.
In addition to this relief for those who cook, the LPG has become an essential power source in everyday transportation, just as this produce of Ghana Gas Company has become the main source of energy for the work of many artisans in the light industries, not to talk about the electricity we see in our homes and offices. It should be obvious now that at a volatile facility like this, safety must be a key component of their work. An elaborate network of red-colored water conveying pipes has been built into the whole processing plant to ensure that water is available wherever and whenever it is needed to cool various tanks and fight any fire.
Those two tanks you can see, they are the firefighting water tanks. Each one stores a capacity of 4,000 cubic meters of capacity of water. And so each one, when you are converting it to liters, you get about 4 million liters of water stored in each tank. And then per the design philosophy, one tank can supply water to fight any kind of fire within the facility for an average of 6 hours. That is how far. And so if we do have any fire in the facility, we anticipate that within the period of 6 hours, we'll be able to mobilize external support to add to what we have within the system.
Also scattered around the facility are a number of communication devices and public address systems that allow for easy information dissemination to everybody on the plant.
So that is the furnace for heating the hot oil. And the hot oil goes then to heat up the towels. When it is cold, it comes back for reheating. So it's a cyclic process.
After the LPG has been taken, there is yet another produce. With effective compressors that allows for the raising of the pressure and the cooling of temperatures, the pentanes and the condensates are also extracted.
We have about 2 tanks for the condensate and 4 tanks for the LPG gas. What we normally do during our day-to-day activity is to monitor the tanks, their process parameters, ensure that the product coming in from the process area is in good shape. And we also supervise the transfer of liquids from these 6 tanks, namely the condensate tanks and the LPG. For the condensate tanks, we have third-party off-takers that normally come to our condensate bay, and we are in charge of loading of those trucks with condensate.
The volatility of the isopentanes and the condensates is such that its handling must be under very serious scrutiny. That is why Ghana Gas and the government of Ghana are engaging General Electric and Mariners to build a plant that could use those produce in places of close proximity to the gas plant.
So we work with these two main instruments here. It's called the gas chromatograph, and its function actually helps us determine the compositional makeup of whatever is injected into the GC. When the raw gas comes in, be it raw gas or be it sales gas, whatever type of gas, be it raw gas, sales gas, or even LPG, this equipment is able to determine the makeup basically of the gas. Over here we have the automatic distillation analyzer. Now the automatic distillation analyzer is often used for analyzing the different boiling points that are present within a condensate or be it within a gasoline. This is what is the purpose of the automatic distillation analyzer. What it does is that it kind of applies heat to the sample within it. So as the samples have got different fractions within it, it's got different compositional makeup. As it's boiling out, often the lighter ones end up coming first until whatever quantity is in, it's all totally boiled out, and we end up getting a profile of the condensate that is within it. We need to know the pressure that when petrol goes in a tank or in a bulk vehicle, those tankers that we see on the road, what kind of pressure that when it's subjected to, it will not be safe. So we determine every time that we do any condensate analysis or LPG analysis, one of the key things that we need to do is about the vapor pressure.
All these activities across the plant are closely monitored by a group of young engineers at the control room to ensure that every single activity goes on when it must and in the way it must, and also ensure that the machines automated are all working perfectly.
We monitor and control the process parameters here, and then also we receive gas into the facility, and then what we have here is your HMI. Everything which is on the field, you can see it here on the HMI. So what we do basically is to monitor and control the process parameters to get the right gas specification so that we can send it to our downstream partners for consumption.
From the inlet filter, you go to the de-ethanization unit. That place is called Unit 20, and it's called gas sealing and de-ethanization unit. The gas comes from the filter and then split into two and go through the gas heat exchanger and the gas liquid heat exchanger. At this unit, this is the first place you get our first product, which is the sales gas that is going to VRA or TRMS. So this is where we get our first product.
The complexity of all these activities suggests that these young engineers must always be on top of their game. Therefore, some form of training must be going on periodically.
As a company, they have in place good training programs. So annually, each one of us are trained to build on our competencies so that we can effectively undertake our duties as a storage tank and rotating equipment engineer.
We believe that the entire industry, for it to be sustained for the long while, really demands that we totally build capacity with our indigenous human resource. And that's what we intend to do. Certainly the indigenization effort is one of such attempts. And we'll continue to make sure that we train our men and women along those three areas: operations, maintenance, and design, to be able to handle the challenge.
This has yielded great dividends, such that for a volatile industry like gas processing, Ghana National Gas Company is yet to record any major casualty emanating from lack of maintenance or non-adherence of safety protocols.
We have excellent safety track records of working over 14.2 million man-hours without a single fatality or major injury. So this presupposes that we don't take safety for granted, knowing very well that it is a gas plant. We have a comprehensive safety policy that brings to bear our commitment to protect our employees. One way by which we can reduce it is by carrying out regular plant maintenance. When we also carry out regular maintenance, we are more or less also reducing frequency of trips of process unit and equipment. When a process unit equipment trips, the gas within the process unit has to come out and it goes through the flare header into the atmosphere. So if you don't trip, there's no gas going out to pollute. All hazardous waste are sent to our central waste collection point. And then we engage the services of the EPA accredited or licensed waste off-takers to come for them and go and further treat them. So we are more or less transferring that risk to that company.
It is the adherence of these safety precautions and the diligence of these indigenous young engineers that has made Ghana Gas Company so successful that the communities in which they operate can now benefit by receiving invaluable support from the company.
We can say that this is a national infrastructure, but it sits in the backyard of people who wake up all the time to seeing this thing that they may not understand at all. And they look at it for as long as that infrastructure is going to be there. So besides being good corporate citizens, we believe that it behoves on us to make sure that we do have a corporate relationship, a community relationship that would make our host community be comfortable with our presence.
There's been numerous social responsibilities that has been done, building of schools, improving the health facilities of the people, making sure that the environment within which that they live become a better place for them because they have a strategic national access here where they are part and parcel of Ghana Gas community. So we engage them a lot.
Our roads are well done. Our need in terms of what will give an option into getting work are all in a way provided. The people around here are fortunate. And I am fortunate that it happens in my time.
Ghana Gas Ziri Azra. And the Mele how put a paramafani carry adone Zuri Karon Graba. Ma environment Durubinu. Ma school sua. Nazri ni teachers quarters ma Dubinu.
We didn't even have a dream of having such a road. And our road wasn't like just a rough road. It was a marshy road, which during the rain season we found it very, very difficult to get into the city. But through the work of Ghana Gas, I think now you can testify it yourself. You can see that the road is well bitumened and easy for transportation.
Vambe mali, brother be wo jime nu. Roller first. Moti after roller mo ejuma la kwa yelela. Yanga ka basic excavator. Tumi ejum kwani me kpana mo wo. Asanko. Yang kpana mo wa. Ami yela Ghana Gas boa me don. Be boa ma me lances. My papers dey be a Mary. Moti Ghana Gas e boa me wo adin don ya la so iga la se ama. A
lot of communities are benefiting from the roles that Ghana Gas is doing. By next year, we're going to roll out that particular program. We're going to train about 200 people, skills training. So we are in talk with Kikam Technical Institute. You know, it's a technical base. So we're going to have them, those who want to learn auto mechanics, 6 months, it will be there for them. Those who want to be electrician, 6 months, it will be there for them. And after that, we'll look at it for certification.
Ghana Gas is liaising with the new administration to make sure that we institute some sort of scholarship scheme for some of them to go to school to the highest level that they can.
Next year, we're going to do a lot of renovation work at the Hafasini Hospital. We realized that the teachers within our catchment area need some sort of training, in-service training for them. So we captured over 100 teachers that we're going to put them into this in-service program, and that will go a long way to benefit the schools.
Just because it's just close to them, and also because it's just around everybody, see the people coming from outside, moving here, riding in their cars. Every parent wanted his child to also be in that mood. So they like taking their work to school.
Well, the Ghana Gas Islands, I'm the chief boy, especially my more don't the they good because of it. I could say, I'm going to my young babu. Uncle Benya, it may be, but Uncle Bay. Yeah, I'm fear policy, or could be modern warfare for my more you may plan about Bama, more of the old Damakan, one of the UK BLN. Yeah, I'm fear the best Baba my. Kakamatan, there is a Bama Yama Bazere, more by a park, more medium studio, Bama and Richie Manan.
It may seem as if everything is perfect at the Ghana Gas Company, but that cannot be true. Like all establishments, Ghana Gas has challenges. This is what has often been referred to as the legacy debt. The good part is that these challenges are being met with the best of intentions and practical strategies.
You have, let's say, VRA owning Ghana Gas. You have ECG owning VRA, and it goes on, and you have government institutions also owning ECG. And I think the ministry's plan to actually address this issue is right on. Certainly, we needed to stop the bleeding.
That until you took away that debt, the energy sector would continue to be hobbled. But taking away that debt was not going to be within the confines of taxing our citizens to pay for the debts or raising money from the banking system to liquidate the debt. So what we've done is to go through the process of structuring a bond.
Going forward, which is more critical, what the ministry intends to do is to have a pot, what we call a financial pot, a holding place for all the receipts that will come from the sale of electrical power. And it's going to be managed by a third party, not necessarily by ECG. So any contributor to the supply of energy along the value chain, whether you supply fuel, whether you supply transmission facilities, whether you supply distribution facilities, you would be accorded your appropriate portion of the pot. The process behind us, we look forward.
With the past behind, Ghana National Gas Company has great plans for the future.
We believe that we can use Ghana Gas as a catalyst to develop a petrochemical industry in this district and the region. The government is planning on doing one fertilizer plant at Zima East and then another one at Jomoro. So we also, as a district, we have been approached by some private investors who want to go into production of ethylene and polyethylene using methane from the gas. And we have written to Ghana Gas already. Ghana Gas has shown keen interest.
If you look at the configuration of the current pipeline, it is just laid along the coast, which is it's really going from Atuabo, like you mentioned, all the way to Takoradi, and there's an intent probably to extend it all the way to Tema. So the Isiama-Prestia line, it's a very strategic pre-build, what we call a pre-build, towards building a network of pipeline in country. So that will be the critical artery in terms of diversifying our supply source going inside the country. So Ghana Gas' presence is really significant, not just for addressing our power shortage problem that we have, but also contributing modestly to our forex. We certainly believe that we will be the bedrock for the industrial revolution which the president talks about.